look in the mirror, man, you're so dirty. Yeah, you look so dirty. You were never worthy. Lately, it's you.
Welcome to the Jeremy Hill Show. If you're easily triggered, leave now because this is not the show for you. Now, what I'm going to be talking about in this reaction video, ladies and gentlemen, is about, again, Kamala Harris, or Kamala Harris, however you say her name. Why am I doing it again? Because there's something new that comes out about this woman every 3 or 4 days or so. I done did videos over former President Trump, former President Biden, and we already know what to expect from former Presidents Trump and Biden. But with Kamala Harris, everything is new. From her having Megan Thee Stallion twerk at the rally, from her saying that she's black on one show, to another show showing that she's saying that she's Indian in 2019, from her saying that she's so black that she carry a bottle of hot sauce with her everywhere she go, because black folks like hot sauce, and from her also saying that she made good collard greens. And people used to come to her for the collard greens so much that she used to have to wash her collard greens in the bathtub. All right, so it just gets weirder and weirder and weirder, right? So right now I'm going to talk about the man or the men that she slept with to get to the top, to the position where she at right now with Mr. Brown. Okay, give me a second as I put it on your screen, man. How y'all doing today? Let's get it.
I will not be shamed out of discussing this by people who say it's slut shaming or it's not relevant. It is relevant when a young candidate tries to sleep her way into politics and into power. And that is what it appears Kamala Harris did when she was a young political aspirant in San Francisco, when she had an affair with a man.
Look at young Kamala Harris. I ain't gonna lie, she look kind of good now. She still look kind of good, to be honest with you, for her age and stuff like that. You know what I mean? But she's not a black woman, man. Like, I try to call her a person of color, man. But that's the man she was getting with.
30 years older than she was. She was 29 to 30, and he was 60. Willie Brown, damn, who was like the godfather of San Francisco politics and very well known. And sure enough, that relationship paid dividends for her in more ways than one.
That's right, Megan. As you noted yesterday, it's completely fair game to talk about Willie Brown. It's how Kamala Harris went from a relatively unknown Alameda County prosecutor to the forefront of San Francisco social life and politics. Willie Brown was the most powerful politician in California when Kamala Harris started dating him. And he also gave her a number of positions. We're talking about...
Oh, yeah, I'm sure he gave her a number of positions. I bet she was in many positions with that man. That was a black man who was a well-known politician of his time. At that time, 60 years old, and she was half his age, about 30-something, probably just coming up to 30-something or 30. You know what I'm saying? And we all know what that is. We all know what that is. She was trying to sleep her way to the top then, okay? So this ain't nothing new. She's just another culture vulture. She's just another one of those women. And I'm not telling you to vote Democrat or Republican. I'm not swaying you to do anything. This is my humble opinion at this time. But what I'm trying to focus on is the behavior. The behavior of, I don't care what race here, any race of woman who manipulates like this and sleep with men to get to the top, that's not new. It's always been going on. All right. The only thing that bothers me is the fact that they keep coming to the black community with that stuff. All right, let's keep going.
$400,000 back in the 1990s. That's almost $800,000 in today's money. He appointed her to those positions that paid her lucratively. He gave her the keys to a BMW, and he went around the most powerful and most wealthy circles of San Francisco and California politics with Kamala Harris on his arm, opening up the doors to her professional and political future.
So it was back when, again, she was 30 years old. He was, at the time, Democratic Speaker of the California State Assembly, quoting here from a Washington Examiner piece, which is very good. The position that he gave her on the California Medical Assistance Commission in 1994 paid at that time over $70,000 a year, which is about $120,000 in current money. And she served on the board until 1998, so about 4 years. That medical commission met twice a month. So for 2 meetings a month, she was getting the equivalent of $120,000. And you know why Democrats in San Francisco were mad about it? It wasn't because she wasn't qualified, which she wasn't. It was because those positions are supposed to be saved for only the most prized Democrats.
That's a lot of money, but the reason why that position wasn't saved is because they wasn't giving him no coochie. Okay? Like I said, we've seen this all our lives, man. We know what sugar daddies are. We know what beta males and tricking is. And that's what that is. That woman was the side chick. All right, Mrs. You may not want to hear it, but the proof is in the pudding. All this stuff is being verified on multiple social media platforms. All over Fox News and CNN. You see it everywhere. You can look it up for yourself. This woman was sleeping with a married man to get to the top. Sucking on some old, wrinkled, hairy balls at that. That's what Miss Harris wanted to do to get where she at. No, man, it gets worse. Let's keep going.
Who Willie Brown really owed favors to. Who did really, amazing things to keep Willie Brown in power. But instead, he gave one to his lover. He was, by the way, still married, though he was reportedly estranged from his wife for a long time. This was technically an extramarital relationship. And they were mad that he gave one of his choice grifting positions, not to somebody who'd done a lot for Democratic politicians, but to Kamala Harris. And not just that, there was another one. He gave her a second position as well, which was basically the same kind of deal, where he just gave her an appointment. She reeked in tons of money, and boom, Bob's your uncle. She was off to the races in Dem politics. And then Willie Brown is on record as saying, I also then helped her with her next big position, which was becoming San Francisco DA.
So when she became the DA, as many of you already know, if you don't know, go look it up. She helped to put away a lot of black people. That woman did not like us then. I don't think she likes us now. I just think it's a goal. I think that she wanted to try to be the president. And she has come on record saying that she's not going to help black people. She said, I'm going to help everybody, which means black people will be affected, which I rebutted with. How is that possible? I mean, you give the LGBTQIA certain policies and rules and regulations that favors them. You gave the Asian people, you give all these different groups of people certain things that benefit their communities. But when it comes to the black people, you say you ain't going to help us. You're just going to just do something and somehow it's going to trickle down into the black community. Think about that. It's the same woman who says she carry a bottle of hot sauce. I don't know if it's Texas Pete or if it's Frank's. She just got a whole bunch of fucking hot sauce on her that she put on her greens that she washed in the bathtub. And she telling you she ain't going to help you. It's crazy, man.
Right. When she ran for district attorney, they had broken up. Willie Brown, as soon as he ran and won the San Francisco mayor election, he broke up with Kamala. And then, Kamala was there for the victory party. But by the time the inauguration hit, his estranged wife reappeared to be holding the Bible while he took the oath of office. And Kamala was kind of pushed aside. But Willie Brown didn't forget her. When Kamala decided to run for district attorney of San Francisco, he was there quietly nudging all of his wealthy donors and powerful connections to help her out. Him and Terrence Holland, the existing district attorney, were not friends anymore. They had kind of had an ugly clash. And Kamala Harris likewise tried to overthrow Holland's second in command, but failed miserably. And so she ended up leaving the office to kind of plot her revenge. So Willie Brown was definitely there behind the scenes, but Kamala Harris did as much as she could before the election to distance herself from Willie Brown. At one point, doing a very long interview with San Francisco magazine, throwing him under the bus entirely, saying, Willie Brown's career is over. He's done. Hello. My turn is here. It's Kamala Harris.
Man, that's just like a 304, man. Use for all you got and then throw you underneath the damn bus so she can't get what she want. Man, this is crazy, man. I'm telling you, female nature, man, is not limited. It is not limited to the ghetto. It's not limited to the projects. It's everywhere, man. In politics, man, it don't matter. If there's a space shuttle in space right now orbiting the planet Earth, female nature up there too, but a woman up there just plotting on how she can take over the damn space shuttle and shit and get to Mars by herself and drop the men out. I'm telling you, female nature is everywhere. These mustard back heifers want to go to space. It's crazy, man. Let's keep going.
Sounds really familiar, Megan, compared to what just happened last weekend.
Oh, yeah. I mean, the whole Democratic Party is going to be stepping all over Joe Biden momentarily. He's going to get his weekend in the sun about what a lion he is. And then as soon as they realize that they can blame everything on him and take it off of Kamala, that's what they're going to do. Every inflation number you've seen, it's all his fault. She didn't touch it. She was just a lowly vice president. What was she supposed to do? But talk to me a little bit about her background, because she rose in San Francisco and then California, right, as the attorney general, and then became a U.S. senator from California. All she's had to do is compete, for the most part, I know there's some exceptions, against other liberals, right? Like, has she ever had to compete against a bull, like Donald Trump, like the silverback gorilla, like Donald Trump, Republican versus Dem? It's on. I realized that she ran as the vice president, but she wasn't the chief. That was really Joe Biden's fight.
Well, the interesting race is when she ran against Steve Cooley for the attorney general position in 2010. Cooley was a relatively sensible law and order Republican from Los Angeles, and really the last meaningful Republican in California politics. And even it was a big year for Democrats. They won by double digits for California Democrats. But Kamala Harris really struggled against Steve Cooley and barely etched out a victory. It looked like the night of the election that she had lost. And lo and behold, weeks later, they did recounts and recounted all the rest of the votes, and she just barely squeaked off a victory. It was really close, and you can definitely look at that campaign and see that maybe she will be competitive in this race against Donald Trump as well. But it's hard to see that happening.
Some are now trying to excuse her awkwardness, repeated and everywhere, as she lost her footing as vice president and didn't have the confidence required to really be herself, which I guess is this secret version of charming. Is there anything in her past that would shed light on what's true about her? Has she always been awkward like this, with the weird laughing and the inappropriate jokes and the...
Man, they are eating this woman ass up. And I'm not even trying to go there for. They call people bulls and silverbacks, and she laugh funny and all that. I'm just trying to stay with the facts, y'all, but I ain't gonna lie, this is entertaining. I ain't gonna lie.
Every time the failed attempts at profundity?
Yeah, a lot of it's the product of being a California politician, right? When you're a California Democrat, all you have to do is impress the donors, impress the political power brokers, and kind of show up and demand a seat at the table. Willie Brown taught her how to do that. So she did have some level of that with the top donors, but she never really connected with the California people. But as we've shown earlier, you don't necessarily need to convince voters. You just need to convince the Democratic Party, and everything will fall in line for you pretty well. So
Boy,
what's
that pattern repeated itself. Sorry, keep going, Charlie.
Yeah, and so the same thing happened when she ran for Senate. She's a very good candidate. She's very disciplined. She loves the sort of the knife fighting and the brawling. She's on the record saying she loves California politics because it's a real fight. So she is a sort of a ruthless politician, a ruthless campaigner. But after after taking office, there's definitely a drop down. Once you actually have to do the job, she never seemed to take it seriously and spent more time planning for her next job. That's kind of what we saw in the first 3 years of her vice presidency. She really was risk averse, didn't seem to be interested in the job she had, but more interested in protecting her own political brand for the future. And I think when a politician hits that stage, the early stage of actually having to do the job, I think that's when they tend to lose their footing and stumble. And I think that's what Kamala Harris ended up looking like. And that's why her staff kind of abandoned her, because she wasn't serious about the office she was holding. And she was more interested in preparing herself to run for president.
Yeah, the reports were that she would fail to read the briefing materials that she was given by the staff, and then she would lash out at the staff for her not knowing information. And meanwhile, she just refused to do her homework. This wasn't in right-wing blogs that just hated Kamala Harris. This was reported even in the mainstream about her terrible behavior as vice president. But now, okay, so we're one day into her likely being the Democratic nominee. She does this first appearance yesterday. And this line, this soundbite, by now, you've seen it, our audience has heard it, It's everywhere. The Democrats are like, you go, girl. Because of this, it's sought for.
Before that, I was a courtroom prosecutor. In those roles, I took on perpetrators of all kinds. Predators who abused women. Fraudsters who ripped off consumers. Cheaters who broke the rules for their own gain. So hear me when I say, I know Donald Trump's type.
Protein bars can be chewy and dense, or so.
Okay, I got some more for you right quick. Hold on right quick, y'all. What I'm about to play for y'all right now is, I don't know if you ever heard of a comedian named Eddie Griffith. He's a funny guy. I think you might like this. His opinions are his own, but he's going to also give you his take on Kamala Harris. Trying to pull him up right quick. 1 second. Let me find it right quick, y'all. Give me a moment. Wonder what y'all think so far about this situation. All right. Make sure it's on your screen good. There it is. Let's get it.
Productive rights are on the line. Our Supreme Court is on the line. Our basic freedoms are being tested, Madam VP. I know you've been traveling across the country. What are you hearing?
Yeah, girl, I'm out here in these streets. And let me...
You're lying, bitch.
That's Eddie Griffin. If you don't know who he is, that's him.
Girl, I'm out here in these streets. And let me...
You're lying, bitch. You out in the streets. Oh, so all of a sudden you black again. Because it's election season. They need a nigga. So, I'm out in these streets. What streets are you in? Huh? What streets? You out in the streets with your white husband, huh? Them streets. Yeah. Because you harder than still getting harder. Madam VP, you understand me? You know what I mean? Yeah, I'm out in these streets. You know what I mean? I'm a hustler, supreme. I'm in the streets, goddammit. I'm hitting the pavement, agitating the gravel. You know what I'm saying? I'm kicking rocks like a motherfucker.
Streets. And let me tell you, you're right, Taraji. There is so much at stake in this moment. The majority of us believe in freedom and equality. But these extremists, as they say, they not like us.
No, they not.
Yeah, look at this bitch. They not like us. Kendrick, kick her in the head. Kick her in the head for even using your goddamn legs. They not like you. Ain't like us either, bitch. Well, how about that?
All right, enough of that, man. Believe it or not, Eddie Griffin is a veteran. I think he served in the Army. He got kicked out and shit, but he's a good dude. Well, he's funny. I don't know him personally. But anyway, y'all take it easy. Let me know what you think about this particular topic, man. I just thought, I might make another video, man. There's something new come out, man. It's like every week or so there's something new. Something new about this lady, man. It's just crazy, man. Well, anyway, I'll talk to y'all later. Y'all be safe now, you hear?